Hello everyone, I'm Innocent Christoph Gavin. Welcome back to Turnabout Podcast. Episode 8 this time. First of all, there's some things I want to get out of the way before I introduce my special guest. For one, I am suffering a bit from a little cold, so I apologize if I sound nasally and very deep. In addition to that, if you're watching this video around its release, I just want to tell you about what happened in Turnabout Podcast. We went off schedule for a bit because I had all these medical issues earlier in quarter one of the year. So the Turnabout Podcast episodes will no longer be released the first day of every month. I will try to keep them going, but there won't be any release schedule. So with that said, I would like to introduce my special guest. So please introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, I am The Unlucky. I am a friend of our dear host here. I'm from France, so forgive me in advance for my perhaps bad English or for my terrible French accent, but I'll try my best to sound as good as possible so that you can hear my thoughts. And so today you invited me here for a special topic.
I did indeed, and I just also want to add that there might be some connectivity issues, but I think it'll work if Discord is kind.
Let's just pray that he is kind.
Yeah. So today our topic is going to be similar to one that was the debut pilot of the podcast where we ranked final villains with Batman 11838. This time we're going to be ranking lawyers and prosecutors. There will be spoilers for the first Ace Attorney game, the second, the third, the whole trilogy, Apollo Justice Ace Attorney, the Investigations games, and the PL vs. AA crossover with Professor Layton. However, there will be no spoilers for DGS 1 or 2 or Spirit of Justice. So if you've played any of the games I mentioned in the spoilers list, go away.
Yes, go away, you fools! What are you doing watching a video?
Yes. My darn ad revenue. I don't make anything anyway. So, Lucas, we spent time making our own little list here. So I think you, because you're the guest, why don't you explain what we're gonna do here with these lists?
Alright, so I was thinking about it while you were introducing yourself actually, and I thought that perhaps it's best that we first talk about in each of our respective turns, forgive me, about our favorite lawyers first, since they are, for most of the parts, the characters we are playing as, so I think it's good that we talk about them first. I think I'll let you tell yours first, and then I'll tell you mine, because it'll be interesting to see how I react to your own list and to see if it is really different or not. I think people will like this, to see different opinions, different matters. And once we are done with each of us telling lawyers, we'll attack the prosecutors, because they are the ones who are really, really, really more difficult to talk about, because there's so many of them. There's so many prosecutors.
There are. Yes, there really are. And to be clear, we left out, in both lists, we left out characters that were more minor. For example, Robert Hammond will not be making any appearances here, but you might see some non-playable characters as well. So, alright Lucas, I will just jump in with my lawyers list, and at the very bottom, I have Diego Armando. So, well, Diego Armando, he's a great character, obviously. I think he has a kind heart, he has an interesting kind of romantic personality with Mia. However, excuse me, I simply put him on the bottom because, well, we barely got to see him in his role as a defense attorney.
Nice. Yes, it's true. We only see him once, and it was alongside Mia.
Yeah. Now, next on my list is Callisto Yu. Similarly, she just wasn't there enough in her defense attorney role. However, she's probably one of my favorite characters of the entire series. What do you think about Callisto?
What I think about Callisto Yu? Well, I think that if I were to meet that woman in real life, I would be scared for life. I mean, Jesus Christ, she's laughing too much. Oh God, I'd be like, hey, how you doing? And then she's like, And I'll be like, okay, I'm getting out of here. I don't want that lawyer.
And
I
I'm
don't
going
want that
away.
lawyer in my case. But too bad, you got me and only me.
Hopefully she won't point a gun at you.
Oh yeah, that also. Well, I hope she won't stab me in the back with a prosecutor.
Oh, jeez. And next up, I have Athena Sykes. Good character. Enjoyed her in Dual Destinies. I thought she could have used a little bit more uniqueness. I think she borrows too many elements from other characters, like the German, and the I'm always kind of happy, and then I'm really sad from Maya. But you know what? I thought she was good. I really did. I wouldn't mind having her come back as a playable role, which I hear is the case in Spirit of Justice, so we'll find out how that goes. And then after that, I have Mia Fey. Now, if you've seen my review of Trials and Tribulations, you'll know I praised the living heck out of Mia in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's like Phoenix, but she has so many unique traits about how sassy she can be.
I know, right?
So,
and I think that if we look towards the first case of Trials and Tribulation, and also the fourth case, Mia is the only person in this goddamn courtroom who has a bit of sense and is not driven away by horniness. I swear, people, it's not because Daria is pretty that she's innocent. God damn it!
right, and that's the thing I don't like about characters like Dahlia and how they lure people in. But Mia Fey, I also point out this really cool moment in Case 1 of Trials and Tribulations in my review, where, Phoenix Wright, he was lying, and Mia obviously caught him, because that's what you do, but she actually pushed further. She doesn't care if she wins, she wants the darn truth.
Yes.
And, yeah. Above Mia, I have Raymond Shields from Investigations 2.
Alright.
We didn't really see him much in the role, we didn't see him much in the role of a defense attorney, but he had those skills, he was very kind-hearted, and I'd say he was just fun to be around. What did you think about Raymond? Do you think that my placement in this list would be low, high, just right for Ray? What do you think?
So I won't say for sure that you were wrong to put him on the bottom list, because actually you'll find yourself soon enough that he is actually pretty low on my list, but on my lower list, not on my character list, because if it were me, Uncle Ray would be on the top. I mean, he's just so fun. I mean, he's cheerful, he's happy, he has deep motive, his character development is pretty interesting when you see his relationship with Edgeworth, how it's changing through the game in City Investigation 2. First, he distrusts Edgeworth because he thinks he betrayed him, then he starts to realize that Edgeworth changed, matured since the last time he probably saw him, and he finally even start to recognize him as someone who was even more superior than his father that Raymond Sheen really respects, since Gregory Edgeworth was really, really, really good at his job. And to see that little relationship with Edgeworth and Raymond Sheen, it just makes the character even more better. And that scene at the end of Case 3 or Exit Investigation 2, when you see the two pictures taken and each other's one next to another, you see little Raymond when he was young with Gregory, and then many years later the same Raymond but adult along with Edgeworth. It's kind of like, an inheritance.
Yeah. Oh, well, that was so clever, the inherited turnabout, but, again, excuse me for my cold.
Nah, don't worry.
Stupid allergies, seriously. Next I have Phoenix Wright. Boo, he's not number one. I apologize, but, I think Phoenix is great. Pretty relatable, designed to be so. He's agitated, passive-aggressive, but on the outside, he really tries to be as nice as he can, and that's because he does have a very good heart. He also always bounces back from some of the worst situations that have occurred to him. Well, have occurred to any character in the series. You could name the fire hydrant to the falling down the bridge to getting hit by a car. I mean, this guy is unstoppable.
Seriously, I think Phoenix is actually a god in disguise. I mean, first of all, he somehow managed to be the only person, I think, that Dahlia didn't succeed to and poison. Every time she tried, she succeeded, except for Phoenix. Phoenix, she failed to poison him, so that just means how good he is. No, just kidding, he just got really lucky. But Phoenix, at one point, fall from a bridge on fire. He fall. I don't know. Like I don't know. Do you see the Eiffel Tower or something? I'm pretty sure he fell on an edge similar to the top of it, and he still survived.
Pretty much.
He still survived. I'm sure that if Phoenix had hit the rock part of the river and not the water part, I'm sure he would have survived still. He would have like, oh no, I broke my finger or something.
Yes, and of course he's grown a lot as a lawyer too, which I think definitely makes him a well-developed character, which I don't think anyone would have any objections to. But
I don't have any objections here, Your Honor.
Thank you. And next, I have Apollo Justice. More specifically, the Apollo Justice Ace Attorney incarnation, because the Dual Destinies kind of not rebooted the I'm not going to get into it. Anyways, Apollo Justice. He's like Phoenix, but he's even more scared. He doesn't know what he's doing, and he doesn't have any confidence. But you know what? You still root for him because of that. But he's also actually more smart than Phoenix was during Phoenix's first cases, probably because he learned from Christoph Gavin. So, you know, Apollo, he's got a lot going for him in terms of emotional support from the player, and he's also got a lot going for him in terms of his actual ability in court, and he definitely has tougher cases, I'd argue, than Phoenix and PW.
I see. Well, that's definitely some pretty well-executed arguments there. I think I'm going to have to think about other arguments when I present him later on the list. But don't worry, I'll manage. So, I'm guessing I figure out who are going to be your top two Ace Attorney. So,
oh, jeez, of course.
I'll let you say
them. Why don't you say them, then?
I'll let you say it, Your Honor.
Thank you. Number 2 is Christoph Gavin. Number 1 is Gregory Edgeworth.
Alright, so you kind of jump a number. So first, Christoph Gavin. Let's hear about it.
Well, I think all you need to know about why Christoph Gavin is one of the best lawyers is literally what the judge says in case 1 of Apollo Justice, Turnabout Trump.
Alright.
The best attorney in the West, or something like that. I mean, this guy's got a reputation. That's because he actually has... You could say he's a villain and all that, which he is. He's a bad person. But you know what? He also did take care of Phoenix for a while. Yes. And, in all honesty, I mean, you can't take away the skills that this guy has. Very sophisticated and very, very convincing in terms of argumentation. And that's... I mean... If we're talking about pure lawyer, well, it's pretty hard to beat.
I see.
And then with Gregory Edgeworth, I would say that he's even more strong. You know, we learned about his unfortunate demise and Turnabout Goodbyes, but then you get to the Inherited Turnabout Investigations 2, where you even get to play as him for a good while. You really see he's a brilliant man and an even kinder person than some of these other characters we mentioned already, and when you put that together, that sounds like a really good lawyer to me, because, Lucas, you know how this series always drives in the, you know, you gotta do what's right, you know, to protect the innocent, right?
Yes.
Well, I couldn't think of a better person than a kind-hearted man to do that, you know?
Yes. But Christoph Gavin is something entirely different, because that man doesn't hesitate to dirty his hand in order to reach a non-guilty verdict. Christoph Gavin also seems to be someone who's really, like you said, he's really good with words. And I don't know why, but I think Christoph Gavin is really impressive in terms of his lawyer skills for one single little thing. He doesn't have Phoenix Psyche Lock. He doesn't have Apollo's absurd bracelet. He doesn't have Athena's ability to read emotions based on the tone of voice of people.
Nope.
Christoph Gavin is doing all this because he has the brains and because he's classy. I think it's because he's got the good looks. People trust him because of that.
He's definitely got the good looks. Yeah. Ladies' man.
well, definitely a good look
Clivier.
Until that breakdown of 4Ks that literally felt like you were exercising the demon itself. Like, I was like, oh, Christoph Gavin reached Super Saiyan 3.
Exactly. Yep. Alright, and then, so yeah, that's it for my lawyers list. So, Lucas, I'm gonna kick back and blow my nose. Oh my god, I'm having a terrible morning here with my allergies. This is such a... Turnabout Podcast number 7. It's funny because Turnabout Podcast number 7 was kind of very funny and loud with Sonata, and this one is just me depressed.
Don't worry about it. I'm pretty sure my French accent is worse than your coldness right now. I betcha. But also,
a lot of innocent Christoph Gavin viewers tell me, "Oh, I love listening to these podcasts in the car." I'm like, "Well, I hope you don't have the windows down at a red light, because you'll be like, what are they listening to?"
I don't know. Maybe
by all means, please.
First of all, Your Honor, you forgot to say about your thoughts about Gregory Edgeworth. After all, he's a one man.
Oh, I did.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I did.
I thought you only said Christoph. Well, never mind then. I guess it's a fault on my part. Very well.
So, I'm gonna kick back and relax, and I want you to rank your lawyers from least to best.
Alright, so keep in mind, everyone who's hearing me right now, that I have French accent. I know I already say it too much, but please, it's critical to remember it if you want to to not judge me too much. So keep in mind that all of those characters in Ace Attorney, I really like them, and my opinions about them will probably change like a roller coaster on this day of Saturday or something. But
yeah, and I'd say the same for me. These are definitely not final lists by any means.
Yeah, that kind of depends on the mood and also the kind of game I played the most recently. But anyway, let's kick it off with my least favorite lawyer. So first of all, in the least favorite lawyer, we got Gregory. Nah, just kidding. Callisto you. Haha, I told you
no!
that. Callisto you. Nah, don't worry.
You are fired.
If I were going to say Gregory, I would be burned down by everyone. Oh, anyway, so Callisto you. Why did I put this crazy woman on my least favorite lawyers? Well, first of all, I think I'm going to have to reset what you said already, my good friends, but because we don't see much of her capacities during the court. I mean, we see her during a little cutscene. It wasn't even her that did the whole turnaround thing. It was her own goddamn client who said, "Hey, the prosecutor is a Yatagasu." The prosecutor was like, "Wait, what?" And then, okay, so you probably just laugh during her head because she's laughing at everything. Also, why is she my least favorite lawyer? It's because I think she's kind of the only lawyer that didn't actively try to innocent their clients. I mean, even Christoph Gavin legitimately tried to innocent Phoenix. He meant it.
It's a very good point there. Yeah.
Well, he meant it. Well, that was before Phoenix decided to, hey, actually, I know what you did, and I'm going to stab you in the back. And Christoph Gavin was like, oh, right, you are really pissing me off right now. Anyway, that's for another story. But yeah, Callisto Yu is the only one who didn't care about getting a non-guilty verdict, because not only did she knew completely that her client was guilty as charged, and because she also is the one who manipulated him into telling to the court that the prosecutor was the Yatagasu so that she could kill them both. What kind of lawyer planifies the murder of their own client? Plus she has the gun. Ow!
And
what?
Really,
I mean,
and I think the viewers need to know, Lucas, that we love Callisto Yu for being a villain. It's just funny that the things that make her a great villain make her, well, a horrible lawyer, you know?
That's true. She is a great villain. I mean, she completely traumatized me with a love of her, especially with that second breakdown of hers when she's acting as the right hand of Xing Yang. No, I think I completely misremember his name. Lao Tseng? No. Ah! You know the guy from Zhengfa? Yes, I completely forgot his name. Shame on me. Shame on my whole family for this.
Shi Long Lang?
Xin Long Lang, yes. When she's the right hand of Xin Long Lang, that second breakdown of hers completely broke my soul. She looks like insane. well, she is probably insane, actually. Because, seriously, you're really going to try to defy Edgeworth after how he exposed you many years back? Don't you know better?
Yeah, right?
Anyway.
Alright, so let's move on to your next choice.
Alright, so the next choice is, and I think I'm going to be careful of this, is Uncle Ray, Raymond Shield. And before you scream at me, he's one of my favorite characters, but just like Callisto Yu, we don't see much of his skills during the court as a lawyer. Plus, the only client we knew he was about to take care of was, I remind you, Nightly Horace. And Nightly Horace was probably a lost case without Edgeworth on him during the first investigation. So I think Raymond Shield, even if he's a good lawyer, who knows, but I'm pretty sure he will have lost this battle. Especially if Edgeworth decides to be like, hey, actually, I'm the prosecutor of this case. Anyway, that would have been interesting, actually. But also, why I think he's a bad lawyer is that, remember when Patricia Rowland was being exposed during the final case of Investigation 2? Uncle Ray, as a lawyer, was saying stuff like, I'm pretty sure my client is guilty as charged there. Why would you say that? He's your client. Don't you care being paid at all? Well, I know it's the truth, and I know you know the truth, etc. But come on, you gotta at least do your job a little.
Right?
You know, maybe Edgeworth was wrong. Maybe Patricia Rowland was innocent. Maybe it was her animal around her neck that did the deed. Nah, just kidding. She was completely insane. But
She
who knows?
She was.
But yeah, Uncle Ray, for the 2nd time I might have saw you as a lawyer, you're terrible at your job. And no, Ray, we don't eat paper to remember words. just insane people do that.
That was an epic rant session. Okay. Moving right along to your next choice.
Alright, I'm going to be careful of this once again. I'm pretty sure I'm going to die multiple times during this list. Anyway, so my next is Diego Armando. I hope I say it right. Why do I say Diego Armando as a bottom 3, at the top of the bottom 3? Well, just like... unlike Uncle Ray and Callisto Yu, we do see a bit of Diego Armando during the court, alongside Mia in the 4th case, and he's actually doing a pretty well job, because not only is he taking care of Mia, who was making her debut, but I think the only problem I have with Diego Armando is that even though he's helping Mia, he's not really actively trying to innocent the guy. He's mostly laid back. He doesn't really intervene that much. He's just a moral support, more of a lawyer, kind of like Grossberg during Mia's
first case.
Second trial in Trial and Tribulation.
I'm sorry, you're right. Second trial. Yeah.
Yes, second trial. Kind of like Grossberg. He's more here to be like, hey, actually, I'm here to exist, and I'm here to support you. But as for helping you... hold on, let me just drink my coffee there. What were you saying? Anyway, no, but Diego Armando is a really good character, especially if we talk about his prosecutor moment. But that'll be for the second list. And Diego Armando as a lawyer, I'm sorry, but you'll have to be on the bottom list, man. But I love you, so please don't hate me. Alright, moving on next. Is probably going to shock you, my friend, because I know that you like her a lot, but I'm afraid to say that the next one for me is Mia Fey. And before you strangle me to death, the reason I think that Mia isn't on the isn't on the top 5 is because, well, we saw her two times. Two times where she's an active lawyer, she's really smart, she's really sassy, and I like that side of hers. And she's really the one lawyer that, along with Gregory Edgeworth, really passed down the tradition of, even in the most desperate of times, a lawyer always have to keep smiling. And
exactly. Yep.
And that's a really good point, because Mia is kind of like, well, the problem is that Mia, even though she's really awesome when she's a lawyer, I see her more of a mentor figure to Phoenix during the saga. We know Mia more when she's in ghost mode, summoned by either Pearl or Mia, or Maya.
Right.
Forgive me. And
Maya, yeah.
And
or Pearl.
And I will never get tired of Pearl summoning Maya, because that just seems really weird to me. I'm like, all right, you do realize that right now this is technically the body of a, I don't know, 9 years old, 8 years old. So how did
it is weird?
How did it grow that much? That's weird. I'm freaked out right now. Anyway, I think Mia is really a good lawyer, but I think that unlike the five among her, she is more of a mental figure and more of a side character, really. At least during the two first games. On the first game, that was our moment of shine. The first game was really our moment of glory, I may say.
So I agree with you that Mia is more pronounced, more remembered, more seen overall as in her mentor figure being channeled. I totally agree with that. So I think that makes a lot of sense why you would have her lower on the lawyers list because of that. That makes a lot of sense. So I guess we'll pick up the pace a bit here. So could you move on to your next one?
Alright. So my next one will be Athena Sykes. I really like the character of Athena Sykes because actually I never get tired of people being actually happy and cheerful. And yes, something struck me as odd during the first case of Dual Destiny. She had kind of like, PTSD syndrome, like she was really freaking out during her first case.
She has a really bad moment,
against Gaspon Payne, motherfucking Payne.
To be fair, it wasn't really Gaspon. Well, I guess it was Gaspon Payne who triggered it because she was put under pressure and then she was reminded of.
But yeah, that trauma of hers is more directly linked to the court, and that makes me interested. Besides, I really like that power of her. Well, not power, it's mostly technological stuff, analyzing the voice of people, and based on their shades of tone, she can pick up the emotions, so she can tell when they feel happy, sad, anger, etc. But when I was really surprised with the character of Athena was how messed up the background was. I don't know if you remember, but during the final case of Dual Destiny, with that single image of her little all bloody, and she's like, "It's okay, mom, I'm going to fix you." I was like, "No, bad Athena."
Yep.
I mean, sad Athena, but no.
Good old M rating. There it is.
That was really creepy. No,
that was really, 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 really out of
disturbing
expectations.
Disturbing. I mean, I'm pretty sure that if I was Phoenix or Apollo at the moment, I would have looked toward Athena and be like, "You're not sleeping next to me next time, girl."
I mean, that's just straight up PL versus AA, kind of like, oh wow, like holy, like oh geez.
Well, jeez. Can we stop the trial right now, please? I think I need to check on my medicine or something. That's the kind of thing you see in your life. That's the kind of thing you see in your life, and you're traumatized forever. Especially with flashback of hers.
Oh yeah, it's like
that was messed up.
Yeah.
Yes. You know
so
what?
Who's next on your list?
The next on my list is Christoph Gavin. And Christoph Gavin, well, I think you said pretty much everything that needs to be said about that legendary man that is Christoph Gavin, and his perfect hairstyle, by the way, and his glasses. Actually, everything about that man is perfect, except his personality and his inner demon, because he's satin, like he's a Dahlia of Apollo Justice, some might say, actually. And what I like about Christopher Gavin as a lawyer, well, of course, he's actually trying to get his job done, and he's actually trying to get Phoenix Wright a non-guilty verdict. But even when Phoenix tried to pin the blame on Christoph at one point, Christoph didn't lose his cool at all. I mean, he kind of lost it with his voice, but he remained all smiling, all eloquent, all... I have all the cards in my hand, literally. Blue card. But anyway, that was a bad joke. But anyway, Christoph Gavin is also, at one point, what I noticed when I replay Apple Justice, is that when Phoenix first accused him, Christoph is not like trying immediately to say, oh yeah, Phoenix actually did it. No, he's trying still to save Phoenix despite what he said, and still try to pin the blame on that server girl, Russian pirate girl, something journalist. Right. He's not trying actually to pin Phoenix. He's actually trying to get him a non-guilty verdict. He really tried, but he just can't. He's just deep in that, that's all. And when you meet him the second time in a prison, well, I know it's not of a lawyer, but more of a villain side, but you still can see why he was a good lawyer. Because he's just that talented at keeping secrets. I mean, he was the first one to summon the almighty black psyche locks. No one before him did that. Even Dahlia raped psyche locks that were really cheap. Christoph had black psyche lock. Also a show to never break.
Right. So, all right, we need to pick up the pace a bit more here. So, could you move on to the next one?
Move along. Gregory Edgeworth. I don't need to say much about why Gregory is so great at his job. Not only is he the only first true rival of Manfred von Kammer, a legendary prosecutor that at this moment when they first met never lost a case during 25 years, I believe. And Gregory just, when you compare to Phoenix in the first game, you really had a hard time trying to defeat or even to make Manfred von Kammer panic. Gregory, just with his first statement, already made Von Kammer sweat. Because he's like, because Von Kammer is like, oh snap, he's good. And that's just how badass Gregory is. And just his cool demeanor, the fact that he has his own logic, his own method, the fact that he's really trying to find the truth, I don't know, if it was cool to see that he didn't really believe in his client immediately. He wanted to make sure first if he could believe in him before accepting the case. And that was actually pretty well done for a lawyer, because I think that most lawyers in the series tend to be really gullible, and when he's too much gullible, when you have a Martin Gar situation. Gregory is actually checking up if it's a good idea to defend him or not. And when he does he not give up a fight? He fought for 1 whole year to defend Mr. Master. And he lost only because Master himself decided to make a false confession about him being an accomplice. So not only did Gregory actually wasn't losing the battle, he was actually doing pretty well to resist against Von Kammer for 1 year. Just imagine having to face Von Kammer for 1 year. That's like horrible. That's like an impressive feat.
All right. Okay. I think I would ask you, Lucas, just going forward, like we need to, we're supposed to give just brief little explanations because we're really running out of time for the prosecutors.
Alright, so second, Phoenix, because, he's a hero, he's really kind, and he's actually pulling the most absurd bluff I've ever saw in my life, and he crosses Avanet a parrot. When you do that, you are in the books for me. And the first is Apollo. Because why? Because that guy can catch a break. That guy is being insulted by Trucy, being insulted by Clarice, being insulted by Phoenix. Absolutely. When he's on oboe mode, when he's in his homeless mode. Apollo had to deal with every worst client, every worst witness I never saw in my life. Apollo has to deal with so much stuff, and yet he's still winning. And besides, he's the one to defeat Christoph Gavin with that little remark of, hey, actually, everything is being recorded, and we kind of change the law. And Christoph Gavin say what?
Yeah. So we're going to move on to our prosecutors now. We don't have enough time today because, I'm really sick and I'd like to just have a shorter episode today. So I think what we'll do is we'll run through every prosecutor, but instead of going through the list, I'll name a prosecutor and we'll both give our thoughts on them. What do you say?
All right. I agree with that kind of line. All right, let's do this.
All right, cool. So, Lucas, thoughts on Gaspin Payne?
Gaspin Payne. So if I have to say one thing about Gaspin Payne is that he's basically a Winston Payne, but an inferior version. Because at least Winston Payne, even if he was a pathetic prosecutor against his opponents, he was actually some kind of good guy, He wasn't actually trying to, cause a PTSD reaction. Gaspin Payne. Plus, Gaspin Payne is acting all high and mighty, while Winston Payne is more like, I know I'm terrible at my job, but please just hear me out. Gaspin Payne is like, I know I'm terrible at my job, but I don't care, because I smile at you, because I think
kind of
I'm
adding
so
on
much
to that, the
better.
thing that makes me like Winston Payne is, well, I think he's just more likable than Gaspin Payne because of that exact reason. And, it's instead of we laugh at Winston, but we just kind of get annoyed by Gaspin.
Yeah, Gaspin is just annoying. Gaspin is like, that one kid in school was like, ha ha ha, I stole your card, I stole your pepper, I stole your candy, and you're like, shut up. Oh,
exactly.
Wait.
So actually, why don't we continue? So we basically covered Gaspin and Winston. Now, my favorite of the kind of opening case prosecutors, Finch.
Finch. And why is that, may you ask? Because I actually put him on the bottom. But that's just me. Because I don't remember him that well, I guess.
Well,
but,
I really liked his voice actor because I thought he really captured this. Oh, I dropped my glasses. Don't look. Don't look. A very funny voice, a great breakdown, a good personality. I like how he keep pushing up his glasses, and he's like, I love the animation where he just holds his bow tie and stretches it a little bit, and he's like, "This is your first time being in a British court, is that right, Mr. Wright?" Or something like that. And Phoenix says, Yeah.
Well, depends on the version of the game you play, that is.
Yeah.
Because
obviously Finch isn't anything special, but I don't know. I just kind of find him the most fun of the three.
Yeah, he's kind of funny. He's like, haha, I'm British, and that makes me superior.
Pretty much. All right, and then how about we talk about Sebastian and Blaise de Best.
Alright, let's talk about the father and son with the most horrible father of all time, by the way. But since we're going to talk about the best, I think it's best. Aha, you see what I did there? I think it's best that we talk about Sebastian the Best. Aha! First of all, because I really like Sebastian the Best for one reason, is that even if during the beginning case of Aston Investigation 2, it kind of seemed like a pathetic prosecutor who has nothing to do with his doing here. I mean, he's terrible at his job, and that's really obvious because his logic is just completely absurd. It's like trying to understand. Well, I don't know. That's how bad his logic is. But I think what I really like about Sebastian the Best is his progression. I mean, when after the fourth case, when his godforsaken father is being revealed to be a really bad father, and how Blaise the Best literally banished his son. Wow, that was pretty harsh, dude. Plus, he was the only one trying. He was the only one trying to help you out, and you just throw him out like that. That was pretty horrible and pretty stupid from your part. But Sebastian the Best, I really like his progression, especially in the fifth case, especially the little sequence between Edgeworth and Sebastian the Best. Edgeworth is trying to put some confidence on Sebastian the Best, telling him that he doesn't have to be a prosecutor like his father, but he has to be his own prosecutor.
And that itself is a very smooth transition to, again, we gotta keep up the pace here. a very smooth transition to Miles Edgeworth, because Miles Edgeworth, he's trying to put confidence in Sebastian, which is a really admirable action, and that's because Edgeworth also really evolves. PW, he's terrible. He's an awful person. He's totally influenced by Manfred, not as much as say Turnabout Beginnings, of course, but he's horrible. He's doing things unlawfully to win. Progressively, JFA much better. Actually assists Phoenix with the assassin stuff. TNT even more of a help. And then by the time you get to
defense lawyer.
Yes, and by the time you get to Turnabout Visitor, he is changed, and he will continue to change, and then he questions his destiny and investigations too. And of course, Dual Destiny's brought him back to PW because stupid writing, with
glasses.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Those look good though. I liked Edgeworth with glasses in that game. He looked really nice, really sharp. But yeah. I mean, do you agree? Do you think Edgeworth, has really evolved?
I think Edgeworth is probably the character who knows the most evolvement in the whole series. I mean, I think Edgeworth, if I were to call Ace Attorney a second name, it would be the story of how a prosecutor named Edgeworth is passing from being a douche to a complete saint, to a superhero. Some even call him the demon prosecutor, not just for nothing. And what I really like about Edgeworth is that you can see, especially in the spin-off, that he doesn't back down. He's not intimidated. Well, he's not intimidated by Courtney, he's not intimidated by the PIC, he's not intimidated by any kind of superior force that tries to distort him from the truth. When Edgeworth has his eye on you, you can make sure he's going to make you spill the beans.
Exactly. And I think we should then talk about taking a little bit of a different path. What do you think, Lucas, Mr. Unlucky? I have a question for you.
Yes?
What do you think about Prosecutor Layton?
What do I think about Prosecutor Layton? I was almost going to say Professor Layton by pure instinct, but what I think about what I think about Prosecutor Layton, well, I must say that if my memory is correct, not only is he a really good prosecutor because, well, he's Professor Layton, of course he's going to be smart. I mean, that man just make up with all kind of riddles and puzzles out of nowhere from his act, and I'm like, how did you know about this? His life must not be easy for him. Imagine, he's waking up, he's shaking his alarm, and he's like, that alarm reminds me of a puzzle. No, I can't stop. Anyway, Professor Layton is an interesting prosecutor because, well, we know him from another series of games, the Professor Layton game, of course, and we know how smart he is. But we can see when he fights off against Phoenix, we can see, it's kind of like seeing one of those crazy crossovers, I don't know, what was a good crossover? Oh yeah, I don't know if you know the Blast Blue class tag team, there's a crossover between the Blast Blue character and Personas, and it's kind of like seeing that it's just two awesome persons, two smart persons facing each other. And if I were to say why Layton is a good prosecutor, is that because probably he's the most calm of all prosecutors. He's really, really calm in what he's doing. He's thinking about everything in advance, and he doesn't seem to panic much. Even when he panics, he's simply lowering his act, if my memory is correct. He's like, yeah.
And what makes Professor Layton either a really good lawyer or a really good prosecutor is that he always becomes extremely well prepared. He's got his end game in his head. He's got his goals in his head. He has all of the evidence he needs in his head. He's completely prepared, and that's why he's like, have a look. Look. This is the fact. This is what you're not thinking about, Mr. Wright. That's the thing. He comes completely prepared. I'm sure he took that long walk from the Storyteller's Tower to the courthouse at the Bell Tower. I'm sure on the way, he and Luke were just bouncing back and forth, to each other, thinking about all the possible things that they can think of that are worth bringing up. And that's why Layton was such a useful asset in PL versus AA in solving the mysteries, because he comes very well prepared and he thinks very deeply because he's smart.
Yes, he's really smart. Is it odd that I think Phoenix would Professor Layton would be a good mafia boss because he's always prepared. He'll be like on the table. All right, I know exactly what we need to do. Actually, didn't they kind of do something like that in Rewind Time? Like Layton, well, an evil clone of Layton was actually a lord of crimes, and he was like super smart.
That'd be funny. All right, and the next we should talk about, if we're on the topic of the crossover, Barnum and Darklaw. Now, you told me before we recorded today, Lucas, you didn't remember much about them, so I will start.
Yeah, I don't remember much about Barnum, especially.
Barnum, he's basically the popular vote equivalent of a prosecutor. Everyone in the town loves him. They constantly cheer his name and humiliate Phoenix. And Barnum, he's very popular. He uses his sword to threaten Phoenix, kind of like Black Quill. And he's kind of like a mixture of Clavier and Blackwell. Can be laid back, but he also is kind of like, ha 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 ha, oh Phoenix, so naive, which kind of gives me a little bit of a Francisca vibe as well. Of course, he has his own unique traits, though, as I mentioned, the sword, and his overall demeanor outside of the courtroom is quite a bit different from inside the courtroom, which I always find interesting. Even Clavier, who was overall a helpful, nice guy, was consistent, in and out of the courtroom. But Barnum definitely was different, especially with what happens to Maya. Big difference in behavior there. So I think he's really, really good. And then Darklaw, I think, is excellent as well. Very threatening, great design, and I think she is also very knowledgeable about Labyrinthia, which puts up a good fight. She also has really good stamina, I think. She was consistently pushy, which is good.
Yeah, I have to agree. The one thing I have to add about Barnum and Darklaw is that both of them, they could very well fit a Fire Emblem game.
I totally see that.
Just imagine Fire Emblem, Boredom, and Darklaw.
Boredom and Darklaw.
Darklaw and Boredom.
Oh, jeez.
I really need to revise my accent and my English there.
Oh,
anyway, let's move on.
Moving on. Let me cross off my list. We have Godot.
Godot. I love him. I love him so much. I love white hairs. Nah, just kidding. I don't like white hairs, but he's making them look awesome. And this mask, and this smile, this grin of his, this 17 cup of coffee tradition that's just absurd. Just who's serving them those coffees? Gumshoes? Is Gumshoe on the line of his bench?
I'm the one who was there, Lucas. I sent the coffee down the table.
You sent a coffee? Wow, you are lucky, man.
Why do you think I know so much about these games? I was right there!
Oh, were you the one that threw the confettis too?
Yes.
Oh, wait, that was me.
Oh
my god, no.
It was you? I should have known. Anyways,
of course.
If you see my review of TNT, viewers, I'm pretty mixed to positive on Godot. I don't think he's the greatest character of all time. I certainly don't think he's sexist or any of what other people are claiming he is. He's a fine character with good, well-developed flaws, good traits as well. I like him.
I can understand why. I mean, I'm pretty understand. Godot is kind of blind during the war game by revenge.
Yes.
Because he cannot admit that he's the one who failed to save Mia because, well, it's not really his fault either. I mean, he was poisoned almost to death by Tanya Planto, that little flower thorn, anyway, I'm not going to get angry at her. But the fact that he couldn't accept Mia's death made him really resent Phoenix because Phoenix was the only one who was near Mia at that time, and I don't know how he learned that, but he somehow managed to learn that, and he wasn't really happy. And also another thing that someone bringing up when I first played the game, it was really clever from the developers. You know how Gardo can see red in white?
Yes.
Well, you remember who was the killer of Mia? Red White. He couldn't see him. So he blamed Phoenix.
Oh my god, I never realized that. Oh.
He couldn't see him, so he blamed Phoenix.
Holy shoot, that is... I really wish I knew that before Trials and Tribulations review. Wow. Thank you,
Well,
Lucas.
now you know.
The more you know.
And I'm sure that I increase. The more you know. Now you can pinpoint this on comments if you want to learn a fun trivia.
Wow. I don't know what to say. Okay, let's move on to Clavier. Clavier Gavin. What are your thoughts on Clavier Gavin?
So, what I have to say about Clavier Gavin is that as much as Apollo is having really the baddest of his day when he's trying to do his job, I think Clavier is also having the baddest day of his job. Because not only is he facing the one who put his own brother in jail, but on the third case, he has to realize that his second in command in his guitar group is also a criminal, so he has to put one of his best friends on jail as well.
Right.
And during the final case, he has to realize that his brother was more of a douche than he first thought. Talk about putting salt on the wound! But yeah, over that, really having probably the most baddest luck of all in terms of prosecution, Clavier Gavin is really interesting to observe because outside of the court he's always really polite, especially toward Tracy. But he's really polite, he's really professional, cool-headed, and he doesn't hold a grudge, not outside the court, but within the court, however, that's some private business that he has. But he's really professional at what he does. He tries to explore every possibility, just like Apollo is trying to explore, every possibility. And I don't know, I just love the fact that, strangely enough, he managed to summon an invisible guitar in the court, and you can hear the guitar playing. And everyone is like, oh yeah, sure.
yeah, just everyday life stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I have nothing to add, honestly. I think you hit it on the head. I completely agree. Honestly, with Clavier Gavin. He's just...
Yeah.
He's cool. We definitely talked a lot about Manfred already. And I talked about Manfred before on the first podcast, so all that really leaves is Franziska von Karma. Now, with Franziska, she's one of my favorites because I think she sees some minor development between games through Justice for All, Trials and Tribulations, Investigations 1, and I guess Investigations 2. She's very bitter. She wants revenge for, her father. She hates Phoenix. She loses. She's very upset about that. But then her half-brother, Miles Edgeworth, at the airport scene, the iconic airport scene, changes her in a way. Trials and Tribulations, she's quite a bit different, and then Investigations 1, she's a very helpful asset that's really still has a bit of an ego, but isn't really, it's not really harming anybody anymore. It's just sort of like, as long as you're my subordinate, Miles, and Miles just kind of shrugs and rolls his eyes, It turned harshness to more of a little humorous kind of thing. But with that said, Franziska's got her whip, she has a great design, and that's basically my thoughts. So what are your thoughts on Franziska?
Oh, my thoughts about Franziska von Karma. It's kind of a tricky question, actually, because, like you said at first, Franziska was for me like, oh, wait, it's my friend von Karma's daughter, and she's exactly acting like him. Oh, wait, she's got a whip, oh my god.
Right, yeah.
But anyway, if we ignore all the finance about her being a dominatrix or something, Franziska von Karma is actually quite funny for me. I don't know. I think it's because she's the only prosecutor who really would do what I would do if I were on their place, if one of my clients was acting like a complete goober or doofus or was always slipping on the tongue. I would whip the out of him. Like, why are you telling me this now? You know, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So she has to cross the path of Larry. She whipped Larry a lot for his foolishness. Oh yeah, and that's also another thing that I like about First Civil Kamai, but I don't know why, but she really likes to say the word fool. Foolish fool of foolishness who thinks about the foolish fools. Can you repeat please? No! Okay.
So,
but,
yeah, so thank you for your thoughts on Francisca. Yeah, so we're almost at an hour mark, which means we have pretty much finished it up. So, I mean, it's hard to rank these characters, right? I mean, we'll never be...
Yeah, it's really hard.
Yeah, it's...
Oh wait, I forgot about one character we forgot to mention. Black Will. We forgot to mention Black Will.
We forgot. Yes. Go ahead, please.
Yes, and Black Will is really cool. Black Will is really cool. Well, first of all, guys, when someone is deliberately trying to put himself on jail, even if it means facing execution, doing his job as a prosecutor despite the fact he knows his days are counted, and plus he's doing really well down, he's really serious about his job, and the fact that he's doing all of this to try and protect at the time, a little girl that he knew was probably innocent. I think that's just admirable of him. I mean, whoa, that guy's a saint. And let's be honest, who didn't laugh when the Hawk put himself on the judge's head like it was his little nest?
That was funny.
And the judge was like, "Oh my God, he's going to kill me."
Yeah, that's basically my thoughts on Black Hole as well. So, as we said, it's so hard to rank these characters, but we did our best with the lawyers and the prosecutors. So that pretty much covers characters for a long time, I think. Again, I apologize, Lucas, for cutting you off there quite a bit. It's just, we only have so much time, and I need to get medication right now. But
don't worry, I understand. I'm pretty sure that if you wish, I can always be there to come for another time. I don't mind at all.
I appreciate that, although I am trying to keep it to one guest, one episode, just so we can get as many fans and colleagues in as possible. But I do appreciate that offer, and I know that you are Lucas, you are interested in voice acting, so I may be able to feature you on the Shield of Justice, Team Turnabouts. So,
cool.
Might be a thing.
Well, now that you heard my voice for at least, I don't know, 1 hour or something, maybe less, but I think you have a pretty good idea on who to put. I mean, I can try to imitate some characters right here, right now, if you want. Well, your viewers are going to hate us for that, but who knows?
Yeah, so... so this has been, Innocent Christoph Gavin. Again, I apologize, this episode was a bit of a weird one with my sickness and all that, but, we're gonna, keep the podcast rolling. They should be coming out fairly steadily, I just don't know at what kind of rate, because there's no longer a schedule. But, thank you again for watching this episode. Right. We'll see you again for another one. I'm gonna have a pretty well-known guest on next time, I think, or it might be another colleague. We'll have to find out, but it'll be fun, and I want to thank you, the unlucky Lucas, for coming on today. It was really nice to have you.
You're really welcome, and I appreciate that you invited me here. It was really fun talking about H-Certainly characters and also giving you trivia you didn't know about. I feel pretty proud of that one. But anyway, I also thank all of your viewers if they managed to support my French accent. And I guess I'll just say it was really nice being part of this little video, and I look forward to its release so that we can watch it together about how my voice sounds really different right now. And anyway, well, thank you all for watching, I guess, and if we were to cross paths again, I'll see you later while I do the edgeworth move, the graceful one, not the one where I freak out, because that would be really weird.
That would be.
Anyway, well, I guess I'll just stay around if you need. Thank you!
Yep, so thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see you in the episode 9 of Turnabout Podcast it'll be. So stick around. I will sound better in that one. All right. Take care, guys.